The quiet streets of Air. Who would expect, hidden behind the surface of neat houses and fences and calm streets, a thriving international community, here in Air. Last week we paid a visit to Madame Jalousie. She shared a bottle of wine with us, exquisite wine, and introduced us to the French community and told us about her opinion about La Vieille Alliance, the old alliance. But today is not about France. It is about its oldest and most favorite enemy besides England, Germany. We found Axel from Leipzig, who has spent quite a lot of years in Air by now, and he's happy to talk to us. Let's go in. Hello, I'm sitting here with Axel and Clara. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
So, you told me you've lived here since 1994 and you've worked as a GP in Scotland, in Air. How did that happen?
Okay. Well, I didn't first start working as a GP here. I first spent quite a number of years in Air Hospital, working in various places. But if your question is why Scotland, then I can tell you exactly why. Because I was racking my brain, how did this happen? When I started uni in '87, that was about 2 years before the wall came down, there was this group of Scottish students in Leipzig who, I don't know what they did there, but they seemed a very kind of different bunch. And twice a year they would do a ceilidh dance in one of the men's hours. And this is where I met my future wife. And these guys, they did this ceilidh dance, and that was quite, I always enjoyed that. And then usually during a break they showed us some slides of Scotland and the Scottish Highlands. And I distinctly remember I looked at these beautiful slides and thought, I will never ever be there. I will never go there. He could show me pictures of the moon. It's just as far as the Scottish Highlands. And then of course things changed, and somehow this little thing stuck in me that wanted to go to Scotland. And this is how it happened.
That's really interesting. So you took the chance when the wall came down and you were there, studied doctor, and
yes.
looking for a job somewhere. Why not Scotland?
Yeah. Well, the situation was helped because when we finished our studies, the situation was really quite bad for graduates in Germany because there were not enough jobs. So basically people had to share a job, and then after a year and a half they had to fight over that job. And so things were very competitive, and since I'm not a terribly competitive person, I thought, why don't I go where I'm wanted? And so it was quite nice actually to come here. People were very welcoming. It was very hard work, and it was a struggle sometimes, obviously, to get used to the language. Because I thought my English was actually quite reasonable when I came here. I think I could express myself, but actually to understand anyone was a different matter altogether.
Have you settled well in this Scottish environment with all the different people? I mean, our show is about international communities. So did you actually find other internationals, or did you stick to the Scottish people?
That's interesting because actually up to this day, mainly we have contact with people who have actually moved here. So I always found, once you kind of scratch the surface, that to actually get into this Scottish community is sometimes a bit difficult, or maybe people who will come from other places kind of look more actively for contact. So yeah, quite interesting. Yeah, a lot of them are British, but a lot of our contacts are people from different areas of Britain who have moved here. And of course initially there was a lot of Germans as well, but then most of them have moved on back to Germany or elsewhere in the world. So yeah, but no, we are settled, and particularly once you start having children, then a place becomes home, really.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask you next thing. Does Air feel like home for you now?
Yeah, this is home. Yeah, and I quite distinctly remember when we had small children that usually when I went to visit Germany and went back on the aeroplane, I thought, well, I'm leaving home now. I'm going back to Britain, and then once the children were there, so actually after 3 weeks or 2 weeks in Germany, I thought, this is enough. Let's go home. So yeah, this is home.
Well, thank you for this great insight into living in Air. You can actually feel it when over here. This is another example for the thriving international community, and see you next week.